Good afternoon, Kenneth.
Good afternoon, Wale.
You are one person that, frankly speaking, I've been looking for an opportunity to talk to.
Interesting.
I've met men,
And
young
here
men.
we go with the flattery.
No, I've met young men who are rounded. Kenneth,
Okay.
you speak that language, educated, smart, great career growth. I mean, you are a source of inspiration to some of us.
Thank
And
you. I'm humbled, and thank you for what will I call it now? Whatever it is. Well, thank you. Yeah.
Kenneth, but I have been pondering
hmm
how to lead without a title.
Hmm.
You know, title opens doors,
True.
but influence keeps them.
hmm
In business, in school, in life,
hmm
the people who shape outcomes aren't necessarily always the ones sitting at the head of the table.
hmm
So here's the question. If your job title disappeared tomorrow, would anyone still follow your lead? Today, we are exploring what it really takes to move people, to make change, and win trust. Without the safety net of authority, because leadership isn't about the nameplates on your desk, it's about the fingerprint you leave on the decisions that matter.
hmm
I know you are a CEO,
hmm
and I know in our culture, when you have big titles
hmm
versus your authority, I mean, in your journey, how as you evolved and you became today, you are now a CEO of a leading company in Nigeria. How has that affected you just moving around your career journey?
Hmm. So, how has the title affected me?
Yes.
Well, no doubt it's always nice to have a nice title around you. CEO, governor, president,
I mean, if I'm the one too, I like those
chief,
titles.
ambassador. But as an individual, I always like to stay very grounded. I do not, I try very much not to get caught up in the bubble of the title or the position I'm occupying. I try to stay very grounded. I'm someone who believes a lot in a concept that was shared by John Maxwell, where he talked about um, what really the levels of leadership. And he did talk about positional leadership and leadership by influence. And positional leadership being the least level of leadership because people only obey you or follow you because of your position. People really are only tethered to you and only go by your instruction because of your position. And like the question you asked, if the position is taken away, people would not really listen to you again. um, but I try my best to want to aim for leadership by influence, whereby people follow you because they believe in your vision, they believe in where you're taking them to, that because of how you inspire, how you direct, how you shape them. So I'm very, very much biased towards leadership by influence. And again, leadership by influence, I think, is not a destination, it's a continuous journey, okay? Because you're constantly learning, you're constantly finding ways to influence people positively, guiding them, directing them. And also, leadership by influence is such that it is bi-directional. Um, the the person you're leading needs to give you an opportunity, needs to give you permission to lead him, okay? And you need to be ready to lead the person, all right? So having said that, I would say for me personally, if I were to lose my title today, would people still listen to me? Well, I think that would be the litmus test of whatever it is I've been doing over the years. I think it would be unfair for me to be both judge and jury of my leadership capabilities. I think I will leave that in the hands of those who have come across me through life. At my current job, my previous jobs and roles, I think they will be in a better position to give a response to that. But I am more focused on everyday learning, every day trying to improve myself, and constantly seeking feedback so I can be a better, more rounded leader. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kenneth. But I was earlier giving some kind of feedback about how well your leadership without title, I mean, within the space of school, has influenced not just me, my group, but the entire classroom.
Thank you.
We're still working within your mindset and influence. Can you say that influence without authority is more powerful than formal power?
Now, the true matter is that both of them are needed at different times. All right. There are some settings where a lack of authority could be frustrating. All right, especially where quick decisions need to be made, where there's a crisis, where you need to get things moving quickly. Positional authority is really, really comes in handy in those scenarios. But generally speaking, I wouldn't say authority is not relevant or authority should be played down. It is required. However, for authority not to be abused, all right, you need influence. Okay? When you become overly reliant on authority, you become draconian, you become, what's the word for it now? Dictatorial, autocratic. I believe a lot in compassionate leadership. Compassionate leadership is not weak leadership, it's just leadership that really seeks to understand how decisions would impact the people before you actually make those decisions. And decisions that tries to consider as much as is possible perspectives. Okay, how be it at a fast pace before it is executed. So, is authority relevant? Yes, because there are some things you need to execute and you need authority to execute them. I think the only thing I would say is that as a leader, you should learn to rely less on the authority of your office and rely more on your ability to influence people to do things. Okay? I think the ultimate responsibility of a leader who has authority is to lead less with authority, even though he has it. All right? And lead more with influence because that's a true measure of your ability to get people moving. Okay, so that I'll keep it at that.
So in your mind eye, what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about who is supposed to be a leader or who can be a leader?
Who can be a leader? So sometimes we confuse leadership with charisma or confuse those who should be leaders with who is most charismatic, who speaks the best, and all of that. I think the yardstick to determine who, and sometimes we also confuse leadership with who is most what's it called, driven to take action, do this, do that, and all of that. While all of those are qualities that are required, I think in my experience, what really, really should determine someone's ability to lead, because you must understand what really is a philosophy around leadership. A leader sees ahead and takes people on the journey to where he has gone to. If an individual has not seen ahead, cannot what's it called? Sell the vision or sell the picture of where he's been to or what he wants to achieve, no one is going to follow, right? Um, but in all of this, and forgive me, maybe that's how my head is wired. I think a leader, someone who will be chosen as a leader, should be someone who really has a high dose of love. All right, and this is where I draw the term compassionate leadership. And why I say this is because, for the most part, when you talk about leadership, you're leading people. All right, whether it is about taking people to space, whether it's about solving world hunger, whether it's about building the next software, if your leadership is not founded on compassion and on love, on kindness, um, I would be worried as to what you would be achieving at the end of the day. Note, being compassionate does not mean you're weak, does not mean you're not firm, does not mean that you're not strong willed, all right? It only means that you really, really care about people and you seek the best interest of people in whatever it is you're doing. And for me, that's very fundamental. Personally, that's very fundamental. Perhaps it's much more real to me because as an individual, my core values border around three things: kindness, a strong work ethic, and a strong appetite for excellence. All right. But be it as it may, in my little study on leadership and those who have succeeded as leaders, I have seen that at the core for every one of them was love, or what you refer to maybe as compassion, especially for people around them. Because at the end of the day, you're not leading robots, you're leading people. All right.
Sure.
And that love is usually reflected in different ways, okay? But it's always at the core of what makes leaders successful. On that foundation rests, um, what's it called? Charisma. On that foundation rests ability to strong will,
Problem solve.
problem solving, and all of that, okay? Because you being able to utilize those things not in a manipulative way or in a Machiavellian way is critical. All right. It's critical. And also you being able to utilize what you've been given, the influence you've been given. Because being a leader, like I said, especially when you're functioning at a level of influence, it's extremely powerful. We've seen people who were able to reach a high level of influence in their leadership journey and who used it for things that were not really what you would say acceptable, or what you would say were not really things that we would celebrate. Okay, and there are many of them. If you go down history, okay. So yeah,
Okay,
that's what I was saying.
let's come down to our everyday life. How can someone step up to lead without being seen as overstepping boundaries or overreaching?
I think how you can step up to lead is by just serving, not desiring that you want to lead.
Not wanting power in
Not
quotes.
wanting power, just desire to want to help, desire to want to serve people, desire to just want to be a kind person.
Have you seen
Okay.
those titles where somebody is Dr. Shepherd, JP,
Yeah,
people string titles together?
no, I've seen them, and well, everybody's perspective is different. I'm speaking purely. I can't criticize them, but I'm speaking purely based on maybe what I have come to really imbibe and what is very core for me. Okay. So for me, if you want to lead, I think the good book says he who must lead must first is the one who will serve. Okay. So and for me, I'm a lot of what I do, foundational principles are drawn from the Bible, perhaps because I'm a Christian. Um, but if you really want to lead, rather than finding someone to give you a title, just solve a problem, serve. Okay. In doing that, also build other skills. There are soft skills you need to build to be able to help you be a good leader and make you to be influential. So let me not make it seem as you just be a compassionate, nice guy and then you be a leader. No.
Okay, so around that,
Yeah.
how do you rally people behind you? You know, how do you rally them when you have no official mandate? How do you get them, galvanize them into a function or a purpose without titles?
You do know that people recognize the person who has the highest influence in a room. Have you been in a room sitting and then everybody is speaking? Even the chairman is speaking and some people are speaking over him. And then somebody just says, "Excuse me, I want to say this," and everybody listens to the person. Okay? That's the most influential person in the room. Okay? I don't think you actively, intentionally want to galvanize people around you. I don't think that is the approach. Okay? I think the natural outcome of you being someone who solves problems, someone who looks after people, someone who has a deep vision about something and wants to carry people in that direction, the natural outcome is that people want to follow you.
Interesting.
Okay, so it is not that you are actively looking for people to follow you. People following you is not what makes you a leader. What you trying to make people follow you is not what makes you a leader. It's people willingly following you is what makes you lead. And the first place you lead from is your home. Before leading your home, well, again, this is a very huge concept. You lead yourself first, then your home, and then before your community and all of that.
Okay, in your leadership journey, now without titles, how have you dealt with objections? You know, can you give us a scenario and how you handled it?
I think objections are a natural part of life. You can't know it all, and you can't always be right. And also, people will never ever always see things from your perspective. Right? I'm still learning in that space. I'm still trying to get a hang of things. But yes, I've faced objections, even when I felt this is the right approach. You can people say no, this, that, and all of that. I'm someone who believes in superior arguments. All right. So I do my very best not to go into meetings or go into deliberations wanting to win things based on my emotions. All right. I want to try to have superior argument. And also, you must be politically aware. Okay? If you're going to have a conversation or have meetings with a group of people and you know that it's not an immediate sellout. It's not at the meeting you want to be selling your bright ideas, especially if you were preempted on what is to be discussed. Okay, you should be politically aware. All right, politically aware means I need to identify who are the key stakeholders in this forum, who are the very influential people in this space. I try to have the private conversations with them, try to win them over before I bring the matter to the general house. Okay. Of course, being a leader, yes, like I said, there are soft skills you must pick up over the time. Okay, you must pick up communication skills. You must pick up what's it called? What skills that help you to be politically aware. You must build relational skills. You must be able to network. You must be able to persuade. Okay, people to see your perspective without force, without intimidation, without coercion. Okay. And you must understand the nuances of where you are so that you know where to use what. Okay? So being a leader is simple, at the same time it's complex.
Chief Kenneth, like I usually call you.
Well, I'm not a chief.
I know. Can leading without a title actually accelerate career growth, and how?
So I would say this, in a very structured, properly run organization, okay, the organization will have structures in place to identify natural leaders. When I mean natural, people who are shaping, driving influence, okay, people who have succeeded in their natural roles and have capability to influence their team members and guide their team members. Organizations have structures to pick up and select these people, and usually they would have an accelerated career path, okay, because every organization needs people who can manage people. All right, the biggest complexity in any organization is not managing machines, it's not managing technology, it's managing people, because people operate all of these things. Now, in an unstructured environment, how do you be a leader and people don't see you as that you are doing eye service and all of that? Again, I will refer back to the Bible. And please, do not mean to offend anybody, but that's a foundational layer on which a lot of things I do is built on. And as a scripture I believe in so much, it said there's a God who rules in the affairs of men. All right, and there's a part in the New Testament that says that when you're working, work as unto God and not unto man. All right, now those two understandings have guided my trajectory. Okay, it means that whatever it is I'm doing, I do it regardless of whether I'm going to get a reward in that place or any other place, because I understand fundamentally that there's a God that rules in the affairs of men. So it means that God owns this and owns the other one and owns every other one. Okay, and I may be dealt, what's it called? I may be dealt partially or not dealt rightly in this place. But if I stay consistent in my attitude, in my desire to serve, in my ability to solve problems and help people, I will be rewarded somewhere else. I have that fundamental understanding. So I am not bothered by how someone treats me, whether they treat me nicely or not right nicely. I am not intrinsically bothered by it. Yes, I may feel emotionally somehow and say, I am not being treated well. But when I think about these two things I mentioned again, it gets me back into my space to help me understand that, see, regardless of whatever, these two things are what guides me. So I won't tell you I have some business theoretical thing to answer that question, but I am guided by these two foundational concepts, philosophies from the Bible, and that really was.
I remember